Backstage with Mothership on Solid Rock Radio begins now. Hear the best in new music, artist interviews, stories from the road, and more. You are now backstage, and here's your host, Mothership.
Hey y'all, glad you're back this week. My guest today is my good friend Josh Bramlett of The Protest. Josh and I are going to make an exclusive announcement tonight, so don't miss it. Let's start the interview. Josh Bramlett, man, you are a sight for sore eyes.
Hey, I can say the exact same thing. It is so good to see your beautiful face. It's just good to see other people right now. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. How have y'all been? Has everybody been healthy?
Well, actually, not really. So COVID really hit hard about a month ago in the area that we live in. So everyone in the band got COVID besides Sarge. He just moved back from California, but he got here after all that stuff happened. So yeah, Jared and I had COVID. Our families had COVID. My wife somehow skirted it, but yeah, so it was pretty crazy, but it wasn't too bad. You know, God is so good. I had some body aches, but after that, just couldn't taste or smell, and that's about it. Now I feel great.
When did your taste and smell come back? Because I've had a lot of people that gone quite a long time without it.
Funny thing, I'd say it's about 60, maybe 50% back. My taste, it's got to be like relatively strong flavor, you know, for me to taste it. And my smell is kind of the same thing. I mean, I can smell anything. I have to get like right up on it. You know what I mean? So. Yeah. So, you know, it's a slow climb, but, you know, I'm blessed that I didn't get it too bad. So.
Oh, good. So everybody else is recovered as well?
Yep. We're all good. Yeah, it's great. Okay.
Well, as long as you're healthy now and you've gotten through that.
Yes, ma'am.
So far, so good. Knock on wood. I am knocking on my head. We've been able to keep it away. We've been very diligent because I do the groceries for my mother-in-law, and I was doing them for my mother as well. And I'm my father's guardian. Even though he's in a nursing home, I make all his decisions. So I have to stay well. I can't sick. Got too much to do.
Yeah, I get that.
But I'm glad y'all are well. I wanted to talk about several things. One of the reasons I had you on this week is there's some things coming up that we need to talk about.
Oh, okay.
But first of all, I want to talk about the song Greater. Tell us about the story behind Greater.
Yeah, so, you know, COVID hit pretty hard, and I don't want to give COVID any credit, but since we weren't able to play as much and things were just a lot different, I had to look at some other job opportunities, and I was working this job for a while, you know, just to kind of get by, and it was just tough. It was a tough job. I don't think the fella understood the band at all. He didn't get it, and it was just a tough thing, and he asked me a lot of tough questions, like, why would you do it if you're not making any money, and why would you do it if it's hard all the time and all that stuff. And it just kind of got my wheels turning. And I think I speak for everyone in our industry when I say that we try not to do it for the money and we don't do it for the fame. And, you know, that's something that's just been really on my heart, you know, because for years, the human side of me wanted that recognition. And there's days where it still does. And the human side of me wants money and wants all this and it wants all that. But that's something that we've been praying against and trying to fight off. So we kind of wrote this song really for us too, just as kind of a reminder, hey, remember why you're doing this, because there is only one reason. And trust me, you know, we didn't write it because we have it all figured out. We totally don't. We wrote it as kind of an anthem to help us stay strong and hopefully other bands too, because, you know, I know so many artists. I mean, they're my best friends, you know, they're my family, and, you know, we're kind of all in this together. And I've seen some of the best bands have to fold because of money issues and stuff like that. And it's, you know, it's kind of heartbreaking. So when we went down to the studio to start writing and recording, this was just kind of on my heart. It's kind of something that God kind of put there, you know, something I feel like we wanted to say, you know? Yeah.
Well, and then you have this fantastic video that goes with it. Tell me a story about the video.
Yeah, so the video is about as true to us as it can be, and I think if you ask a lot of bands, it's kind of the same thing. And you know firsthand too, you know, being friends with all of us and family, that it's not glamorous at all. You know,
No.
You know, I mean, those things in the video are all true. I mean, you know, we've pushed the bus across intersections. We pushed the bus into gas stations, into people's driveways.
Didn't you work on it in my driveway?
Yeah. I'm sure we did. I mean, I tell you this, we have broken down in probably most states. So, I mean, that's all true. And it comes with a lot of hard things like that. But I think Joel really captured, you know, what we do very well. And we're so thankful to have him on board. He's just fantastic. The video turned out great. And we just wanted to be vulnerable and show people just the realness of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, speaking of the vehicle, I know that it was on its last legs. Where are we now with it?
Well, it's probably on its last leg now.
It only has one left.
Yeah. It's definitely limping around. We're kind of at that crossroads where it's like, well, do we take it out to the pasture and just, let it
Put
go?
it out of its misery.
Yes, exactly. Or do we really fix it? Because we've been partially fixing it for about a year and a half because we're like, well, we'll probably get something new soon. So we have to make that decision if we're going to get something new or just totally fix the bus and stop putting Band-Aids on it. You know what I mean? So from the way it sounded the last time we took it in, I think it's time to look into something else. So
it gets to be sort of like that sunk cost fallacy where it's like you spent so much on it, you just have to just keep going.
Yeah. Oh, seriously. I mean, we've already spent more than we paid for it. So
yeah. All right. So with Greater and the Greater video, there were some nominations that happened with the Grizzly Awards. You were nominated for Rock Song of the Year, Video of the Year, Guitarist, and Drummer. Everybody loves you. What can I say?
We're very humbled. We love the Grizzlies. I think it's just amazing what you guys are doing, because a lot of bands work super, super hard at their craft, and they don't do it for the money or the fame. So the fact that you guys give a platform to Christian rock where there's not really a platform for it now, I think just amazing. So, I mean, we're very, very humbled to be nominated. It's truly an honor.
Well, it's also an honor for me to be able to be part of something that celebrates the excellence of what you do and the ministry of what you do. So I'm just real proud to be part of it.
Oh, well, you definitely should be. That's an amazing crew. I think everyone on the Grizzlies crew, in my mind, is just a legend,
We're legends in our own minds.
Hey, aren't we all?
Backstage with Mothership returns after this. Check us out on Facebook at I'm with Mothership. Out Performance Shop is a proud supporter of Solid Rock Radio. They specialize in retail and wholesale of automotive high-performance racing and off-road products. They also carry a variety of accessories from remote control cars to rock and roller multi-carts. On the web at outperformance.com.
Well, I'm going to take this time to make an exclusive announcement for our radio show on Solid Rock Radio to let people know that one of the headliners of the Grizzly Awards show will be The Protest, right?
Yes, super stoked about that.
So that is going to be on February 20th, we think around 7 Central, and it's going to be streamed live on Facebook. So you know what this means, Josh?
What's that?
I get to come up to Nashville and see you.
Yes. And this also means that we have to really rehearse. Super, super pumped about that. Again, we're honored to be asked.
Yeah, but I think that's all I'm allowed to leak today.
Got it.
But yeah, there'll be, of course, some done like we did last year where we're going to videotape and bring it in. We've got a limit on how many people can actually come to the venue because of COVID. Also, guess who's going to cater?
Who's that? You?
Of course.
Now I'm really, really looking forward to it, so it should be good.
Yeah, but I've got to do things different because I got to be a little more safer, more individual servings and things like that. So we'll keep everybody safe.
The protest has had COVID, so I think we're good for at least another couple months. So you don't have to worry about us so much,
Well, okay. Also, sadly, we missed Germany this year.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, missing Loud and Proud was a bummer for me. I don't know about you.
It really, really is. I mean, as you know, you just make family over there, I mean, we've been going over there, I think, since 2015 or 16, and they're just amazing people. It's just sad not to see your friends because that's just one of our favorite shows of the year and some of our favorite people. It's so cool that you're part of that team, too. That's amazing.
Yeah, the booking team. Also, a perk that I do get is I do get to sometimes do Zoom meetings with them. Sometimes not understanding everything, but we've had prayer meetings, especially, we were trying to decide what to do. So they're just hoping and praying that this will happen this year. But, if it doesn't, then we're going to load it up and try it again the next year.
It's God's will, but I'll definitely join in praying that it happens sooner than later.
Yeah, and we'll be coming up with the announcements for those in April. So we'll see how it works out.
Yeah.
All right. Tell us what else is going on with the protest besides the single Greater. What else have y'all been doing, or what are you have an album planned, or?
Yeah, I'm super glad to say this. Back around Thanksgiving time, we spent a couple weeks out in LA working on some new music. We're super, super pumped about it. We're starting to get some of the mixes back, and they sound really, really good. We're super blessed and so happy by the way things are turning out. So yes, there's new music coming out. Not really totally sure when yet, but it will be this year. So we're super pumped about that. And we're starting to get some dates. It's tough right now just because everything's kind of in flux. You know, I mean, we have 5 or 6 spring dates and a handful of summer dates and festivals, but it's just tough right now because no one's really sure where things are going to be at. So, you know, we're trying to be diligent and move forward as if things are going to work out, but we also are trying to plan if they don't. You know, so we're just praying a lot and writing a lot of music and recording. And I think you guys will really, really like the new stuff. I think it's our best stuff yet.
So is it a change of direction or is it
a lot of people seem to like the heavier side of the protest. And that's something that we definitely cater towards on these songs. It's weird. We have probably our heaviest song of all time. But we also have probably like our biggest arena sounding song too, and kind of everything in between, you know. It's pretty diverse, but we're just really, really pumped about the songs. We wrote some of them with some amazing folks. The guy that we went to work with, he did Righteous Vendetta's Curse record and a lot of secular artists like New Year's Day and stuff like that. And he's phenomenal. Super pumped.
So you're saying that heavy song's heavier than Legacy?
Yeah, I think so. I know that you will get this. My dad doesn't really get it so much, but it's probably our heaviest song ever, but it's very rock and roll and very upbeat and pretty. So it's very strange. It's like all screaming and very heavy, but it's got a super like Noise Revolution type vibe to it, you know? And so I think everyone will like it because my dad and mom both really, really like it. And if they like it, then I think most people will. You know, but it's definitely our heaviest stuff. And TJ does a lot on this record, more than he's ever done. So, yeah, super, super pumped.
That sounds very exciting to me. I can't wait.
I know, right?
All right. I spoke with your brother a little bit about this, but tell us some more about your new design company.
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for asking about Quiet Strength. And I just wanted to thank you again for letting Jared come on the show and, you know, kind of give him a platform to talk about it. It's been going, you know, really, really well. I think as far as first year businesses go, it's going really well. You know, we've had the honor to work with just amazing artists and amazing folks. And, you know, it's funny because we do graphic design for everybody. You know, we don't limit ourselves just to the music industry, but that's what we kind of want to do. You know, I mean, most of our work comes from artists and bands, and we're so humbled that they trust us with their stuff. Yeah, it's been a blast. You know, things are going really well. And business has been picking up. Yeah, it's been great. I've been taking lessons, so hopefully here soon, Jared's not the only one that's able to do the work, you know, because it's getting pretty crazy. So
in my mind, I have you doing a lot of the business things, and he was doing a lot of the actual art. Is that kind of the way it started, but now you're learning graphic art?
Yeah, so it's still very much that way. You know, like Jared and I started kind of doing this on the side a couple years ago. We didn't have a business, but he just needed someone to help him stay organized and to invoice and to do all that kind of stuff, to set up his projects, you know, make sure the deadlines are met and everything. So we started kind of doing that on the side while we were touring and he was working and I was working. Due to COVID, you know, he was furloughed from his job, and we finally started something that we kind of wanted to do for a long time. By the grace of God, we're keeping the lights on and he's taking care of us. So we're super humbled by that. You know, Jared is, you know, he will never say this because he's the most humble human on the face of the earth. He's just so good at what he does, and I'm just super proud of him, and I'm honored to work with him. He's my best friend, so it's great.
He's very talented. I just saw some recent artwork he did for another band, and I'm just always floored at how good it is.
Yeah, I think I will probably have like 10 years or more before I'm at the level he is now, and I probably still won't be. So, you know, he's really good, but we're always thankful for anyone who wants to work with us. It's been awesome.
Do you have any new merch coming out?
Probably. Yes. So SARS moved back home, which is a huge blessing. And we've had one band meeting so far, and we've hung out a ton. But we're going to start rehearsing again this week and really get everything ironed out. 'Cause we have a lot to iron out and things to figure out. But, yeah, we love having new merch as much as we can. So I don't know if we'll have any by our spring dates, but I mean, I'd say by summer we'll definitely have some new merch, and we're looking at maybe doing some like really unique merch items too. So, you know, we'll see. we obviously have our shirts that you can come and get live, and we like to keep those very fresh, but we like to do really, really special shirts. To be fair, they're all black. So,
yeah, the whole back half of my closet has black T-shirts, so, you know.
I can't even imagine how many band tees you have.
I can't either. The whole back of my closet, plus I have another box down on the floor of older ones that I don't wear.
It's hard to part ways with them too, you know, because it's like a moment in time. Like, I mean, I've gotten rid of so many clothes, but a lot of band tees I keep. Mm-hmm. I want to show my kids, because I agree, like, most of my shirts are from my friends and other bands that we trade or whatever, and that's a big part of my wardrobe.
That's right. Well, you know, you look pretty dapper in a nice concert tee, right?
Right.
Yeah. Today, I actually got a bigger tub to put my posters, set lists, and just all the memorabilia stuff. I have 2 vases full of drumsticks. I don't know what I'm going to do with them all.
I just think it's great that you're doing that. I think it's awesome.
It's fun to go back and look and remember, like you said, there's like a frozen moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
You're listening to Backstage with Mothership on Solid Rock Radio.
I usually ask, what are your favorite road snacks? I pretty much know, but go ahead and say it just in case there's somebody out there that doesn't know this yet.
You definitely know. Well, we have a borderline obsession with 0-calorie monsters. That got out, I think, because of you. And
probably.
And I will say, the last tour we did, we had monsters in spades, and it was fantastic because that saves us a ton of money. It's a huge blessing. And, you know, I try not to drink a lot of energy drinks at home, but on the road, it's just kind of like what we do, you know. So we're so thankful for that.
Do you still like to drink the Zero Gatorades, though?
Yes.
You drink those all the time, too. The yellow ones, or was it the white ones? I can't remember. Right?
Yellow's my fave, for sure.
Okay.
And those are great for, like, right after the set to kind of get your electrolytes going again, because that adrenaline dump gets a little bit harder each year, you know. We love healthy snacks. Trust me, we love unhealthy snacks too, but I try my best not to eat the unhealthy ones as much as I can. It's very hard, like trail mix and stuff like that. You know, we're pretty easy. If any banana pudding gets thrown in the mix, I'm always down for that.
Yeah, that can always be arranged.
Only from you, though. I just feel like it just wouldn't be right, you know?
Oh, no.
I mean, you set the standard, you know?
Well, we'll have some up there at the Grizzly Awards.
Fantastic. That'll be my reward for hopefully doing a good job.
I know you'll do a good job.
Well, I sure hope so. No, we're so pumped about that. And again, just so honored. And I'm just pumped to see everybody, you know, to come back from. So,
yeah. Well, before we go, tell us a good story from the road. It can be funny or it can be serious.
Okay, that's a good question. There's lots of stories.
Well, you can tell several if you want.
Okay, this one's kind of terrifying, but it was something. So this is years ago. We had a different bus. We're somewhere in the Southwest. I'm going to try to be very general here.
Okay.
So we played a venue, right? I asked the guy putting the show on prior, hey, you know, like, we need a place to stay. He's like, okay, I've got just the place. You can stay at my grandma's house. We were like, okay, yeah, that's fine. That's great. So after the show, it's storming so hard, and we're in like a really little, like, rinky-dink bus back then, and we pull up to this place, and we find out that it's his grandma's former house, and no one's lived there in months. And we go in, and there's no furniture, and there's one couch, and I go to pull the bed out of the couch, and like rat's nests fall out. So we're like, okay, this is something. And it smells like natural gas, but it's storming like so bad. And there's this other band there, and it was their first tour. And this kid that dropped us off, by the way, he pieced out, so he didn't even stay there. And this other band, it was their first time on the road, and they didn't have any place to sleep besides that, so we didn't want to leave them. So we're sleeping fully clothed because it's just a mess, and I have my sleeping bag up over my nose and mouth because the natural gas smell, and we're just getting like the worst headaches. And then to make matters worse, right around midnight, the power goes out. So it's like, what is going on? And then the lights come back on somewhere in the middle of the night. Our bass player pokes me and points to the wall. There's like mice running around. So he just gets up and walks out, and he just goes and sleeps on the bus. And we stay there, and we wake up in the morning, and our heads are killing us, and our sleeping bags are covered in dirt and mess. But we survived. You know, it was fantastic.
Oh, wow. Well, now I feel a lot better about my house.
No, trust me. Just one more quick story. We were playing a show in Oklahoma. This is a long time ago. We were playing at a church that some really, really good friends of ours are from. And their youth pastor, who had us in a year before, so vibrant, so full of life, just an amazing human being, loved the Lord, loved the kids. He got very, very sick with cancer and was in the hospital the next time we came around. And we had a show the next day in Texas, so we were going to have to leave right after the show in Oklahoma and head to Texas. But I get a call that morning, and the venue had to pull out for whatever reason. So we got to go to the hospital and, see our friend right before he passed away. And it was an honor to be there. He couldn't say much, but, we thought that we were going to go in there and encourage him. But, he encouraged us, and it was tough, but it was just one of those beautiful moments where, God just lines things up to where, we were able to pray with him and pray with his family. And, that might have not happened if that show would have went on. And I was mad about the show. I was like, why does this happen? And God always has his reason, So,
he does.
Yeah. And that's just what I love about the road. There's so many things that have just, been a big part of our lives. It's always very cool.
That's a great story. I often tell the story about how Brian Head Welch prayed with my brother. My brother's life was changed, and it was because not many people showed up at the venue.
Yeah.
And he was very, very discouraged that night. I found out later that there was not a big crowd. And I said, Brian, it's because you needed to be able to pray with my brother. And so, we just don't know.
And that's fantastic. And I'm so glad that you share that, because that is so true. I think for all the bands, it is discouraging sometimes when, not a lot of people show. It kind of hurts the pride and just kind of, it's just kind of a bummer. But you're totally right. If we're following God's will and his call in our lives, then the people that are there are the ones that are there for a reason. And you're totally right. Had there been a ton of people there that night, it may have been hard for him to get to your brother. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's so cool what God does there. And there's nights where the crowd's tiny, but he moves and things happen. And that's just what he does. It's fantastic.
And I'd like to tell anybody who's never been to a protest show that if there's one person or 500 people, the show is exactly the same. You guys put so much energy and so much passion behind a performance.
Thank you very much. That definitely means a lot. And honestly, it wasn't always that way. But, just like you said with your story about Brian, we realized this. First of all, God doesn't need the protest. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If we stopped playing music, the rocks would sing. So he doesn't really need us. So it's a privilege to do this for him. And the people that came, even if it's 5, it's like they came for a reason. So we want to give everything we have.
Mm-hmm. And in the music that you've written, like your song says, you're leaving a legacy. We're here and we're gone. We have to leave a legacy or we leave nothing.
Right. And
I didn't want to be one of those people who didn't leave anything.
And that legacy could be all about, Josh, well, he was a rock star. He played shows, he did all he was this big time rock star. Or your legacy could be, I hope mine is Josh loved the Lord and wanted other people to love the Lord and did his best to lead people to Jesus. And that's what I truly want as my legacy. I think that's what all the guys want. And some days it is hard, because we're human beings, flesh and blood. But at the end of the day, that's what it is. You're totally right.
Amen. When you were down in Adel before that last time, and how, again, there was a small crowd, but you really, really did some ministering that night. There was a lot of tears and a lot of people that night that were spoken to.
And it's just another one of those God things. Like, I'll be honest with you. We talked about it a little bit, just because I was a little sad. And I'm not just sad for, us or the bands. I always feel bad for the promoter that put all this time and money into it. And I was worried that, they were upset because there's not a lot of people here and all this stuff. But again, right before we went on, an older gentleman whom I've never met before came up, said, you have something to say tonight through God. And he put oil on my forehead. I realized how selfish I was thinking and being, and I went outside and just prayed for the Lord to speak. And like you said, like some really, really cool moments happened. Mm-hmm. And the gal that had us out, who's one of the best humans alive, I said to her after the show, I'm like, hey, listen, I'm sorry that we didn't have more people here for you and stuff like that. And she was like, I'd do it all again in a heartbeat because of what happened. So, it's always an honor. I have to kick myself in the head sometimes to get in the right headspace, but,
You get there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I have sure enjoyed talking with you face to face. Unfortunately, the radio people can't see you. He looks really nice. He's playing with his hair.
Yeah. Well, I definitely have a face for radio, so.
No, you do not. No, that'd be more like me.
But hey, thank you so much for having me on. It's so good to see you. It's an honor to be on the show, and I cannot wait to see you in person soon.
I can't wait either. We'll talk with you later. Good night.
Hey, love you. We'll see you later.
Love you too. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening tonight. Stay tuned for more great music all night long. Don't forget to check out my I'm with Mothership page on Facebook and my blog on solidrockradio.org for links to my guests' social accounts. This show will be replayed at 4 a.m. Eastern Time and will be added to the Solid Rock Radio website, archive, and SoundCloud. I pray you have a wonderful week, and remember to be kind to one another.